Hello, movie lovers. This is Bob, one of the grumpy old gentlemen on film. The other gentleman, of course, Ian, Mikey, Harry, my man, Jay, and James. Did I get everybody? Mike, Harry, Jay, Ian, and James. Yeah, so my name's Bob. And I'm the guy from the north, which is Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Now I'm here to talk about two movies that Ian picked for me for Marathon 2. I got an itchy nose. I don't know why I keep getting itchy nose. Maybe it's my beard. Let's talk about the two movies. Let's talk about the first one right here. Tom Cruise, 2003, The Last Samurai. Yes. Tom Cruise plays the Civil War hero, Nathan. Goes to Japan, right? He gets hired. Him and his master sergeant end up in Japan. They get hired for a certain amount of money a month or whatever. A lot of money, you know, back then, 80s? Well, just say, yeah, more than likely probably 1880s. He ends up going to Japan. He's going to train the Japanese army, right? Just like, you know, the blue coats, how they train with the guns and the bayonets and marching and shooting and cannons and the whole 9 yards. So he's there to teach these Japanese soldiers how to be in an army, right? So how they be in an army. And they're going to be up against the samurai. Guys got bow and arrows and some swords. So, of course, he thinks this is funny. He really, you know, bow and arrow and swords, and they're gonna, you know, they want me to, you know, teach these Japanese guys how to be a soldier in the army with a gun and a bayonet, and they're gonna go up against the samurai. Well, the samurai's gonna get friggin' massacred, man. Right? That's the general idea. That's what everybody's thinking. They're gonna get wiped out and killed because of the... Anyway, he teaches these Japanese soldiers in the army how to march, how to fight, how to shoot their guns, and stuff like that. So what happens? They go up against the samurai. They're all in line, nice little army in line, right, and their guns and everything, and they're standing there waiting for the samurai to show up. Of course, the samurai do show up, right? They're coming out of the trees and the mist, stuff like that. You know, they're hard to see, of course, right? And soldiers are all standing there. All right, get aim, right? Get ready to fire and all that. So they fire, right? Of course, the bullets go all over the place. They probably don't hit anybody. Maybe hit a few samurais. So the samurai break through on their horses, right, and start slashing and spearing everybody and cutting them down. And the Japanese army gets a bright idea. And most of them turn around and say, "That's it. I'm getting the fuck out of here," right? They turn and run. They start running. So the samurai chase them, right, and start slashing them from behind and killing them all. And yeah, so of course Nathan, Tom Cruise's character, right, he's standing there, right, he's fighting everybody with the sword. He's pretty good with the sword, he is, right? So the Japanese, the samurai, they're all fighting him, right, and trying to hack him down and all that. And they're doing a pretty good job and all that. So one of the guys, he's laying down on the ground, and one of the Japanese warriors, right, it's all dressed up in this red kind of uniform, leather and stuff. He goes in to kill him, and Tom Cruise sticks a friggin' spear up his fucking throat, kills him. Dead. He's dead. Anyway, they get him and they tie him up and everything. They all go back to this village, right, the village. So this lady, nurses Tom Cruise back to health, right? You know, he's basically a drunk. He's an alcoholic anyway, right? That's all he ever did for years, because he had no honor. He just didn't like the way him and his men, soldiers, and you know, destroyed the Indians and stuff, right? So Tom Cruise was already a drunk and drunkard, and he didn't like himself even by the time he went over to Japan. So by the time he's laying in this village recuperating from his wounds, he's actually recuperating because he's got the heebie-jeebies, right? And he wants to drink and get drunk, and that's all he wants to do. Anyway, he's laying in bed. He's not drinking. Has a little drink of sake once in a while, but other than that. So he actually gets over his heebie-jeebies, and he starts learning Japanese language and stuff. Although he's followed around, he stuff to keep an eye on him. Anyway, you can't go nowhere, right? Because the snow is in the hills and you can't get out, right? So by the time the summer rolls around, he heads back into town with the samurai. They're going to go meet up with the king, or is that the king? The king of Japan? What did they call? What did they call? Anyway, they're there, and the Americans are there, and they're trying to have a trade with the Americans and stuff like that, right? And now the Japanese are told they have to lay down their swords and give up, and there's no more samurai. That's it. Forget about it, boys. Well, no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to give up. So they go back to the village, and Tom Cruise ends up going back to the village with them. That's what he does. Basically, he does that. So now they just wait. They're waiting now, and the Japanese army's coming to the village to where the samurai, hence the last samurai, right? Yes. So they get on the battlefield, and they got these great big cannons, and there's about, I don't know what, 2,000 Japanese army, like the army, maybe 500 samurai. Could be 4,000 Japanese army. But anyway, there's about 500 samurai. And they attacked the Japanese army. And that's it. The end of that story. But you're going to have to watch it if you want to know the rest of it. So there I go. I teased you again, didn't I? Anyway, this is a very well done movie. Tom Cruise does a great part. Yeah, what's his name? Ken Watanabe and Billy Connolly, yeah, the English, I think, no, Scottish. I think he's Scottish, yeah. He's the sergeant at arms. But very well done movie. I liked it. Another movie I haven't seen in a while, but I really enjoyed watching it again. Kind of brought tears to my eyes, as always, at the ending. When the fighting was going on, everybody's dying. I got a little teary-eyed, but I do that all the time. Get teary-eyed. Here's the other movie that Ian picked for me. 1963. Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Peter Sellers plays three different parts in this movie. Yeah, and George C. Scott is in it too. Sterling Hayden's in it also. There's a whole bunch of people in it. Anyway, this is the kind of movie where it's basically a what if kind of shit. What if? Nothing probably could ever happen like this, but there's always that little distinct possibility, right? There's a guy in charge, Sterling Hayden's in charge here, right? And he sends word, right? They're gonna sends the code or sends word to the planes. There's planes flying up there, within Russian territory, not over there, but near Russia. And they're told to bomb Russia, basically to, here you go, boys, open up the codes and open it up, and what do you got? We're gonna bomb Russia. So they're going, all right, they're gonna bomb the Ruskies. So off they go. Sterling Hayden's sitting in his office, right, smoking a big fat cigar, right, and telling everybody to hand over all the radios and, confiscate everybody's radios because he doesn't want anybody listening to the radio and stuff like that. So he does all that. And you get Peter Sellers' character, right, being there with Sterling Hayden. And he finds out that Sterling Hayden's a little bit of a crackpot, a nut bar, right? So now it takes place where now it's George C. Scott's character, right? He's got to go in, sit in a big round table in the war room, and him and the Russian guy, they're starting, you know, having a fight in the war room, and he yells out, they yell out, no, hey, there's no fighting in the war room, right? They can't be doing that shit, right? So now they're sitting around talking to the Russians, right? Telling each other that, you know, they're sorry, right? Because the planes go over, right? And they're going to bomb them. Now, the Russians have already shot down 3 or 4 of the planes, but this one is getting through, right? This one Russian, they're apologizing to each other for what's going to happen, right? You know, a certain amount of Russians are going to get bombed and liberated. So, yeah, so, and like I said, Peter Sellers plays 3 different guys, or men, characters in this movie. So, this is what if somebody pushes a button and blows up Russia. This is back in the day when Kennedy and, you know, the bomb scare was going on. Remember, all the kids had to, around this time period, or a little bit before this, but the time period when all the kids had to sit underneath the school desk and everything, you know, just in case the bomb went off. Not that it would matter. Sitting underneath the desk ain't gonna do you fuck all anyway. So, yeah, so I've seen this movie numerous times over the years. This one I have. Probably watched this one just last year, if I remember right. Probably watched it on the Bob and Rick show. But very well done. Stanley Kubrick's movie, Dr. Strangelove. This is the 45th anniversary special edition. It looks like a book. Yeah. So if you haven't seen Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, watch it. That's fun and that's laughable. There you go, people. Grumpy Old Gentleman on film Marathon 2 with Ian's pick. Yeah, Ian, he's from Wales. So thank you, Ian. I appreciate the 2 movies you picked for me, and I'll talk to you again soon. Later, people.